as Latin American bankers try to squeeze in those extra meetings in their already impossibly hectic schedules at Felaban, I thought about sharing with you a few numbers about the region's largest, strongest and most profitable lenders, which you might indeed wish to meet at the event if you are amongst the over 1,000 delegates. So let's start from this first table, which shows you the country aggregates. These are all the Latin American countries that we rank at the bank. The data is taken from the bankers database. As you can imagine, Brazil is the largest by far, both by assets and Tier 1 capital, followed by Venezuela and Mexico. Now, there is a little bit of a disclaimer to be made before we dive into the next tables about Venezuela, because of the different varied official exchange rates that the country uses. It's an inflation that is estimated to be 1,000%. So this makes analyzing the country particularly difficult, and we have decided to exclude it from other tables that I'm going to show you now to present a picture of Latin America that is a little bit more easy to understand. So let's move on to the next table. Here we are having the top 10 banks among the over 200 that we have ranked in the Bankers October edition, which is the one that is available at Felaban. As you can see, the largest banks are Brazilian names, so the top 5 are all Brazilian names, which are steadily there, have been there for many years, and are very likely to stay in that position in the future as well. But because of Brazil's dire economic situation and the corruption scandals that have really suffocated the country over the past year and longer, we are starting to see some effects on the largest lenders. So as you can see, the Tier 1 capital change has a minus in front of that figure of the percentage change, and it's quite a big decrease. So it ranges from minus 28.52% for Itau Unibanco, which is the largest Brazilian lender and the largest Latin American lender in our list, to 38.42% for Santander Brazil. Again, in this table, we are seeing the Venezuelan lenders, so we are still ranking them in this particular sub-table, and you can see that their numbers are quite high there. So Banesco Banco Universal is in number 6 with a Tier 1 capital of almost 9 billion, and it is followed by Banco de Venezuela with around 8.5 billion. Let's move now on to the next table, where I'm going to show you the growth of Latin American banks when it comes to their Tier 1 capital, which is obviously the measure that we use in our rankings because it indicates the solidity of the lenders. So here we are moving on to a little bit of a different geography. We have HSBC Bank Argentina at the top of this table with a very chunky Tier 1 capital increase over 50%. And it is quite interesting that HSBC dominates this table because as we are all aware, HSBC decided to divest from Latin America, but recently the CEO of the bank has made quite an optimistic forecast about Argentina, as many others, both from the banking sector, international banking sector, but also other investors, because of the country's new government, which is very much pro-business and open to the international community, and the reforms that the country has introduced pretty swiftly since the election of the new president, Mauricio Macri, late last year. Let's move on to the next table. Now I want to tell you a little bit about profitability. So here, again, we're moving on to a bunch of other countries that are popping in the ranking. The top 2 names for the return on capital table are Citibank. So Citibank operations in Peru and Argentina, as you can tell there, with a pretty high return on capital. And again, the capital definition that we use in this case is the Tier 1 capital. And next, we have the top Latin banks for return on assets. In this case, we have Mexico at the top of the list with Banco Compartamos, which is a microfinance specialist. with a return on asset, a very healthy one of 15.44, followed by American Express Bank Mexico, which is another specialist, obviously a credit card specialist. And again, we have Argentina here too in third and fourth position, Citibank Argentina, Banco Macro, a very solid Argentinian bank, and in fifth place, Citibank Peru again. So this is just a little bit of a taste of what you can find in the October edition of The Banker, which is distributed at Felaban, and of course also a little bit of a taste of the wealth of data that we have at the Banker database. Thank you.